All right, friends. Good morning. Happy Saturday here at Odd Shopper and Tails. Ready to talk some college football. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to get into the games. We're going to build some parlays, teasers, answer questions, have a good time. We're going to let people roll in here, but feeling good. I am feeling good about the slate. Vibes are high. Chad already knows we're riding Southern Miss till the wheels fall off, and they're not going to fall off today against Texas State. They're just not. That's our team. We could probably make the show 10 seconds and just tell you that's it. Just bet them. But we're going to do a little bit of more of that. Live talking CFB. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. But like I said, good morning, everyone. And here we go. Let's bring up the screen. Let's not waste any time. You guys know the drill. We're going to walk through. Why so tiny? You don't mean to be. So it could be a production issue. Let me see. You can blame these StreamYard options, but I think we're in business now. All right. Here we go. We'll bring up the board. And we'll start scrolling again. So it's not the biggest slate in the world. It's not the best slate in the world. It's a slate, though. And there are spots. Honestly, from a betting standpoint, I like it better than the actual games. Actual games, I want to see Oklahoma and Alabama. I certainly want to see Texas and Georgia. I don't know if it was the best betting games in the world, particularly Texas, Georgia, but if you have boosts and whatnot, we can get there. Any love for Cincy? -6.5 today. Well, one thing I did read, I believe they're missing their star back. I don't mind that, particularly at 6.5. Let's see where it is over here. It's 6.5 on both spots. -230 though. I wouldn't throw that out immediately. You could really look to do some good moneyline parlay things today, and Cincinnati's probably in that conversation. I hope they get it done because I'm convinced they're going to beat BYU next week. I hope BYU beats TCU this week. But yeah, I think that's a decent spot for yourself. Arizona has to hit the road. They're a fine team, but Cincinnati's good. I bet them a lot this year. And, particularly on their field, on their turf, that's probably a spot worth taking. That's a good spot. All right, here we go. Start to dive into it. Michigan and Northwestern, that's a no. UTSA and Charlotte, no. Oklahoma State is horrendous. Maybe they'll be in the teaser. You guys know the drill late. Let's talk about Pitt and Notre Dame real quick. Best bet for me in the game would be the over. Pittsburgh plays fast. Pittsburgh's freshman quarterback is awesome. I think he'll be able to move the ball against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's rushing attack, I think, will test Pittsburgh's front like they haven't seen. The optics of the game are interesting because the Pitt coach talked about how he doesn't really care. I don't think he really believes that, but I also don't think it's completely made up. Pittsburgh is focused on the ACC. Notre Dame has to win the game. Has to win it, must win, triple must win, and I'm sure they will win. 12.5 points is a lot of points, though. So for me, I look at Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. I'm not going to play much outside of if there's a boost or to this total. Like I said, I think Pittsburgh can put up a pretty healthy amount of points. They'll land in the 20s, and I think Notre Dame has a chance to, 35-ish on their own. So, yeah, that's where I'm at for the game. It's not the most glamorous, but there's only a handful of ranked versus ranked teams. South Florida and Navy. South Florida needs to win, but I think they'll be ready. Obviously, Navy's always a funky team, but they don't play defense to the clip that they're going to need to slow South Florida. Does Stochastic do college football DraftKings videos? We don't do live before lock anymore. Get in our Discord, all that good stuff. Obviously, projections, sims, all the tools are there. But the live before lock show that I used to do, we are not doing this year. That's why I'm here, though, to talk a little college football with you, friends. South Carolina and Texas A&M. A&M has been rolling. 17 and a hook is a lot. Not a game I'm looking to get involved with. I don't see any shenanigans there either. Cincinnati, just talked about them. Shout out to UConn. And by the way, if you don't know about UConn's quarterback, he's ridiculous. Guy's been awesome all year. I don't really want to lay those points, but they're another moneyline parlay piece today. And I think that that's something that you could look to if you're really going for these boosts where you get more incremental, the boost builders and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility with a team like UConn. Air Force, it's been pretty rough. I'm not going to lie. The academies ebbs and flows because they can't really recruit. Certainly the portal doesn't help them as much as other teams. Air Force is pretty down this year. I haven't seen confirmation, but I believe that Horvath is playing. Don't quote me 100%. I haven't seen anything where it says like he's in, but I also haven't seen anything that says he's out again. So I think he is in today for Navy, which obviously would help them. Indiana and Wisco, no. All right. I want to talk about LSU, who, speaking of quarterbacks, it looks like they're going to have their backup quarterback. I actually could make a case that I like them more now. I like LSU in this spot. Arkansas is an absolute mess. They've been a mess all season. I've bet against them a lot. 2-7. 2-7. They've lost 7 straight. They've given up 38, 33, 45, 34, 56, 32, and 41 during this losing streak. Everybody is scoring on them. LSU is going to score on them. The game is down there as well. LSU, yes, it's been bad. These are the losses at Ole Miss, at Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, and at Alabama. I mean, I know LSU has lofty expectations and they think they should win those games. Those are big-time games, really big-time games. So I look at this. Quality of opponent comes down. They will still move the ball, particularly on the ground. The defense is what it is. Arkansas scores. They score against everyone too, but they simply can't stop anybody. I like LSU. The line has come down, and I think it's misguided. I put this one on Tails already this morning, which, again, tails.bet. The link is in the description. If you want to tail the actual bets, look at this. It sinks right in. LSU was in my parlay this morning, along with a couple others that we're going to talk about. But I really like LSU. One of my favorite bets of the day. And again, we'll talk about this because we got trending topics, by the way. Woo, if you want to just see UFC, college football Saturday, boosts and promos, collabs, new experts, Tails is really, really evolving. Don't miss out. Oregon State is one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I don't know how you would bet them, so it's Tulsa or pass, but it probably should be pass. Tennessee Tech is an FCS team. Thoughts on Missouri State? You just got that question. So my quick thoughts are that UTEP is so bad that just blindly you could go to Missouri State because UTEP, who I have backed a lot this year, and they cannot score. Now lately, they actually found 20 points and 27 points in the last couple games. But before that, it's just been awful. They have to hit the road again. And Missouri State, they look good relative to, they made the jump. They're 6-3. They've won 4 straight. All very competitive games. The largest margin of victory was 7 points. So you are living a little dangerously. I get that. Dare I say another Moneyline parlay piece? I could consider that. I also could consider laying the points here. I'm with you. If I had to take a side, Missouri State is just more balanced. It's ticked up to 6 over on DraftKings, minus 225 on DraftKings. This minus 205 right here, I think is worth looking into. That's one. Again, if you're building a boosted promo or you're just looking for some Moneyline parlay pieces, Missouri State belongs in that conversation for sure. They're a good, bad team. They definitely have some things that could cause some problems. Iowa and USC. Okay. I want to talk about this real quick. I like USC in this game. I plan to do something with USC. They were another Moneyline parlay piece, but there's a giant but to all of this. They're calling for I don't know anything about the weather. I live on the East Coast. I didn't think it was supposed to be nasty in Southern Cal. They're calling for biblical storms, apparently. Crazy rain, crazy lightning. All of that helps Iowa a lot more than it helps USC. In fact, it hurts USC, who's a dynamic offense and a passing attack. They don't want to play a crazy physical, bang it out type style at all. And I don't want them to. I wanted them to really force Iowa to play defense in ideal conditions. Aliens are coming. That would be less surprising than some of the stuff that I've seen, like in the Louisville game last night. But USC, I worry about what exactly is going on there weather-wise. Other than that, I love the spot. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. I might have to hit it live because I need to see a little more of what actually is going on. But I'm going to click this in for the time being. Penn State and Michigan State. I like Michigan State in this game. I did get word that they're starting the backup quarterback. That's not a great thing. I still think they can muck up the game. It's a sub 50 total. It's right on 50 basically. Penn State, you can play this game a lot in terms of quantifying the unquantifiable. Penn State has a horrible season. Then they get up for an Indiana game at home, and then they get their hearts ripped out again. And now they have to hit the road to East Lansing. That's a terrible optics trip. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know if the locker room is splintered or anything like that. It's very hard to tell. I worry about Michigan State's offense. That's obviously a concern with the backup quarterback. I still think that Michigan State's better than that record indicates. And I think at home, they can challenge here. You're getting 7 and a hook. Michigan State's the side, but I would caution the backup quarterback is in there. All right, friends. It's that time. Here we go. Maybe a big trap, but if it is, I'm going right to it. Southern Miss, our team, the squad, my guys, already put this out on Tails. Bet of the day right here. Southern Miss. It's going the other way, and that is a little freaky. I don't get this line. And sometimes when you don't get a line, it turns out that the books are straight wrong. And sometimes when you don't get a line, it turns out that you have a blind spot. It's just the nature of it. Southern Miss is 5-0 in the Sun Belt. They're playing fantastic. Everything is working. Their quarterback got dinged, but it looks like he's going to play. Texas State comes to town. Texas State is 0-5 in the conference. Texas State only plays in crazy games. I will give them credit for that. Every loss is in like double overtime on a miraculous situation, but they have consistently found ways to lose these games. And I just look at Southern Miss. All systems go. The game's in Hattiesburg. Yes, there are macro optics where Southern Miss is running incredibly hot, turnover margin, things like that. And Texas State is running incredibly poor, fluke overtime losses, things like that. I still think this is a game, though, on talent alone, there's a disparity. Southern Miss is a good football team, a very good football team. And there's someone that's been perpetually undervalued all season long. I really think that at some point, these diminishing returns from Texas State, they continue to fight, and I give them credit. I like Texas State in life. But at some point, the wheels do fall off after you've lost so many close games. And I look at that combined with Southern Miss. If it's a trap, I'll have to live with it. I like them at flat 3. You're getting reduced juice now. Yeah, I am on that for sure. Barry, I'm on Cincinnati -6.5. I get it. I may join you fellas there. I haven't bet that game. It wasn't particularly on my radar, but the more I looked, the more I like. And obviously, again, we got a sharp chat in here. Southern Miss, though. Come and tail this right here. Get to tails. This is all free content. And start tailing bets. And give me a follow there. I'm about to hit 5,000 followers. So many people are pouring into this platform because it's exactly what you want. Straight betting. Straight DFS. Straight content. No nonsense. Alabama, Oklahoma. I like Alabama in the game. I like them on the money line. I think Oklahoma has been awesome this year. One of my favorite teams. Went into Tennessee and got the job done. That was unfortunate. Off the bye, blah, blah, blah. They were outplayed in that game. Miraculous turnovers, miraculous field goals, made the plays when they need to. But Alabama's a different beast. Alabama's really good. The Florida State loss looks like a different time and a different world and a different place, blah, blah, blah. They are a very solid team. They can't run the ball relative to Alabama standards. But you know what? Ty Simpson knows what he's doing. You can't really run on Alabama and the secondary of Alabama is outstanding. So maybe you do have to run on them because they've done really, really well through the air. The pass rush is weak. I don't think that really matters. Oklahoma is a little banged up on top of everything else. Alabama's just, they've been awesome all year. We bet them last week against LSU, showed up, handled their business. It's just what they're doing, seemingly week in and week out. And they still have a ton to play for. It's not that they're coasting by any stretch at this point. Alabama's just, again, all systems go inside of a touchdown for me. These are competitive SEC games, but I like the Tide today in the big one. Let's keep going. South Alabama, no. Texas Tech slayed the Dragon last week as we knew that they would. It's hard to victory lap that because I've been so wrong on BYU all year. But Texas Tech is really good. They're just a really, really good team. No ifs, ands, or buts, and they'll keep it going today. Maryland and Illinois, that's not it. Where were we? Scrolling. Virginia and Duke, tough loss for Virginia last week. Chandler Morris goes down, their quarterback. The backup just not ready to play, really. Tough one. Shouldn't have lost that game to Wake. There's no doubt about it, but weird stuff happens. And the ACC is abysmal. Abysmal. They shouldn't even get in. Hate to say it. Georgia Tech, another team that's looking, to bounce back. Boston College, I tried to be cute last week, and they just can't get out of their own way. They moved the ball on SMU, but they just stupid turnovers, mistakes, things that a bad football team does. So I guess I can't really complain about that. I'm not looking to run it back in any major way here against Georgia Tech. That's just a tough ask for me. Or tough, if you do it, more power to you. I'd love to hear why, but that's a pass. Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. Here's a good game. This is an interesting game to talk about. East Carolina and Memphis. Memphis is another team. You can find flat 3 here. We'll have to see on the status of Memphis's quarterback, but Memphis just had their hearts ripped out, and that is a little concerning to me. It was a good game. It was a hard-fought game, but at the end of the day, Tulane did what they needed to do, and Memphis couldn't make the plays late. And now Memphis's season is kind of stuck. They're not going to make the playoff. Not sure what they're really doing, kind of floundering around. That's a weird spot for me for Memphis. East Carolina at home, pretty high-octane team. They had some losses early in the year. They're not the best team in the world. I don't want to pretend that they are, but they're effective, and they're dangerous. And Memphis's defense has been concerning, to say the least. So I look at this game. I think ECU has a lot of ways they can cause serious problems for Memphis. And I look at Memphis, I think there's a lot of ways they're not really up for the game, to be completely honest. It's hard to quantify. Again, you really don't know with that stuff, but that was a heartbreaking loss for them last week. And now their playoff hopes are, I'd say, basically eliminated. I'm not sure they would have made it anyway, but certainly they'd be in a whole different situation if they did that. And that doesn't even talk about, as I mentioned, we have to see the status of Lewis at quarterback because he's a key piece to the puzzle. If he's banged up on top of all this, that could be a problem. So flat 3 for East Carolina. Let's count me in situation. Haven't bet it yet, but probably will. New Mexico State and Tennessee. Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that. That's just not a thing. North Carolina is playing way better. Gotta give Bill a shout out if he's watching for his game today. Bill, hit the like button. Appreciate you. I don't think you're allowed on Tails, but maybe. I don't want to cause a scandal, but yeah, +5.5. I think that's the side that I'd lean to there. FIU and Liberty, meh. Coastal and Georgia Southern, no. Sam Houston finally did something, but no. Ole Miss, they'd probably get it done. It's a little too rich for me at 460. I look to them in some type of money line parlay, but I think that's a little much. Maybe if they're down, you could hit them live. I don't hate that, but I don't want to really mess around with that game. Yeah, North Carolina absolutely could win outright. They've been there every step of the way. Last week, a nice win. I mean, Stanford, but they have been in games versus a lot better opponents than Wake Forest, that's for sure. Utah and Baylor, that's kind of a weird game. I do think Utah goes on the road, gets it done. Ohio State's going to win by like 700. But let's talk about Texas and Georgia. Tough game. I'll admit it. Tough game. Georgia starts slow every week. Every week they start slow. The offense has been awesome. They have to rally more times than not. Their win streak at home was snapped this year, but it was snapped by Alabama, who's really good. Texas, they've won some games they probably shouldn't have, but they made the plays when they needed to. Their defense is really strong. Arch is getting better. It feels about right to me. I could make a case, and it's not great analysis. We're not going to put this in the Hall of Fame. Can make a case for taking the points for sure. I could also make a case for Georgia Moneyline and Moneyline parlays. Georgia's electric at home. That offense is really good. And if Texas has to play in a shootout, I don't see it. So my advice on the game is obviously do something with your boosts. If you like the over, I think it correlates more to Georgia. Georgia team total, obviously, but Georgia in covering the game. I don't think Texas wins like a 34-31 game. I think Texas has shots to really hang, though. If it's 24-17 type game, 24-20, I do agree that I think Texas, like most teams, could start quick. Could be 7-0. It could be 10-3, and then Georgia will get into the game, as they seemingly always do. You could wait and hit Georgia live. That's definitely a spot. I bet you'll at some point get better than 6.5, but you have to obviously factor in what's already happened. It doesn't just simply work like that. So it's not my favorite game by any stretch. It is a good game though. Where can I watch UFC for free? I don't have the answer to that. I will say, if you want free UFC bets though, friend, just go right here, go to Tails, and click on this trending topic, and you're going to get UFC bets from all the people, all the sharps that we've got betting UFC all day. I will be tailing these because I love to bet the UFC. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but we've got some of the best, from Narco Cup to Team Money to Wheezy to Drop. There's so many really sharp UFC people on Tails, so this would be the day to do it, man. All right, let's finish this out, and then you guys know what time it is. It's time to build the teaser that, by the way, we have won 4 weeks in a row on it. Insane. Yeah, it is interesting. Honestly, give it a try. Tails.bet. Free content right there. Utah Baylor going over. That would be my lean, just because Baylor can really push it, and Utah is not afraid to get into a game like that. I haven't bet anything with that total, but yeah, that would be where I'm leaning if I had to. TCU BYU, keep an eye on that game. I hope BYU wins so I can bet Cincinnati next week against them. Then we got a couple Mountain West games, Wyoming and Fresno State. But all right, we've done some good work here. Quick review. We've got Bama, Notre Dame, and Pitt over. LSU might be my favorite bet of the day besides Southern Miss. USC, weather pending. You guys see all this good stuff. Again, it'll all be on Tails, including, drum roll please, and since I'm self-producing, if I actually want a drum roll, I have to find it and press it in the thing, and I don't even know where that is. We're just going to do intensive. Here we go. It's time to make a teaser. Yes, we do this every week. Yes, it's extremely degenerate. Yes, we're winning it every week somehow. Let's go. Teaser time. We got to find 4 games. We need to move them 14 points. So let the games begin. First one up right here. Northwestern, right off the bat. 10.5. I'll move that to 24.5. Don't mind if I do. Man, since he's coming down, that is very interesting. Tulsa. That's 2. Miami to win the game, basically. This is coming together easier than it did last week. Oh my God, I want to click this so badly, but I can't do it. Honestly, in North Carolina. North Carolina's not getting blown out in this game. Look at this. Look at this. Here we go. Teaser time. Not t-shirt time. That was another error. Era, as I say. All right. Look at that. 24 and a half. 15 and a half. Miami to win and UNC getting 19 and a half. I don't know if I see a loser in there. Do I still like Pitt versus Notre Dame over 54 and a half? Yeah, I do. Can I send you all of the picks? I absolutely can, Donovan. All you got to do is go to Tails and you follow me and you get alerted every time I make a pick. It is that simple. That is why we built Tails. It is legitimately that simple. So anytime a bet is dropped, you get a push notification right on Tails. So if you want these bets, go right to Tails, sign on up. It's free content, and you're in business. Texas Tech, yeah, I don't mind teasing Texas Tech down. That's another way to do this. But all right, we're going to review this, and then I'll put this over on Tails so you guys get the alert and you can one-click tail it. But Northwestern, Tulsa, Miami, and North Carolina. Look at that beauty. One of these days, we're going to lose it, but hopefully not this week. Minus 125, as it always is. We are in business, friends. Thanks again for tuning in. I love doing this show every week. It's a good time. I hope you guys find it to be a good time. If you have any questions on a game I didn't get to, at JazzRazBets on Twitter. I'm going to be hanging out all day, dropping picks, as you guys know. And again, if you haven't checked us out, go to Tails. It's going to be a fun day over there. So many bets are dropping. I want everyone in on the sweat. It's more fun in betting when we're all betting together. That's what it's all about. Let's pick some winners today. So on that note, friends, good luck. Enjoy college football, UFC, college basketball, NBA, and everything in between. Cash some tickets, and we'll do it again next week.